This is NDTV, and you're watching NDTV 24/7.
What a delight it is to be among really, proper professional and I should say people who've practiced Indian dance for many, many years. And, between all of you, how many years of experience can we clock up? 15 plus 10, 25 plus 8. So that's more than 30 years. So in this frame, there's more than 30 years of Indian dance practice. Tell me, sir, I'll start with you. What kind of Indian dance do you do, and how did you get involved in all of this?
Okay, so I do Kathak, which is a North Indian classical dance style originating in temples. And Kathak is a very versatile dance form because it's gone through many eras of change. So the word Kathak is derived from the Sanskrit word Gatha, which means to tell a story. In the temples, where dancers used to tell stories about like ancient Indian traditions, so like about Lord Ram, Lord Krishna, his pastimes. And then from that, it evolved into the Mughal art form, where it became a very technical and very fast spins and technical movements that are involved with Kathak.
And how many years have you been doing this?
I've been doing it for about 15 years.
Oh,
yeah.
Gosh, that's a lot of years. You must be hardly older than 15 years yourself.
I'm 17.
You're 17, so you've been doing this since you were 2.
Yeah.
Very good, very good. Well, what about you, ma'am? What kind of dance do you do, and how many years have you been doing it?
I'm studying Bharatanatyam, and I've been doing that for about 10 years now. Yeah.
And why Bharatanatyam? Was it something your parents pushed you into, like Indian cultural class next door? Why don't you join this class?
Far from it, actually. They were a little disinterested at first. However, what happened was that I would see a lot of cultural programs. I'd see dancers in front of me, and in a way that inspired me. So I felt, well, I want to take this further. So at the beginning, it didn't work out so well. I was a bit too young.
Yeah. How old were you?
About 7. A little persistent.
Yeah.
But then afterwards, I finally found my own ground, and I realized that I really want to do this. And because of that, it kind of carried me through.
Nice, nice little story. Tell me, how did both of y'all are sisters?
Yeah.
How did y'all get involved in dancing?
We're both sisters. I think growing up we watched a lot of Bharatanatyam performances, and I think definitely for me, I found it very beautiful to look at. I think Bharatanatyam has a lot of facial expression, so the actual dance form is very masculine. It's very kind of mathematical and precision, but the facial expressions make it so gentle, so graceful, and I think it makes it such an attractive dance to watch.
Yeah.
So we both learned when we were quite young. We were offered it as a part, during school. We could do it as an extra lesson, so very blessed to have been able to have that opportunity.
Okay. And which one would you say is the better dancer between the two of you?
Oh, that's asking a tricky question. You'll have to watch us and see, and you can
I have to make my own judgment?
Yeah.
Okay, what do you think?
I think it's her. I picked it up because of her. She wanted to start a dance troupe.
Yeah.
So I started learning a little bit after her. So she's my inspiration.
Okay. And tell me, this thing about Indian dance here in the UK, is it something that's easy to access, to learn Indian dance? And is it something, you don't need to necessarily talk from your own personal experience, but others that you may know. Is this something that Indian parents generally push their kids to do? Hey, why don't you join the nice kind of Bharatanatyam dance class next door sort of thing? Is that often the case?
Sometimes, yeah. I think if parents have kind of grown up watching it, maybe they want their children to do it. But although it's a bit of a struggle at the beginning, maybe you don't want to. I think over time it becomes more enjoyable, especially when you start performing and actually doing a big performance. It's exciting. It's fun to get dressed up and perform. So that's exciting in itself.
Yeah. And do you perform a lot?
Yeah, we perform mainly during the summer when there's different programs outside and events and melas and things like that. Okay. So we perform often.
Okay. And tell me, usually there are lots and lots of these Bollywood groups all across the UK. I've spoken myself to lots of young people who do a lot of Bollywood dancing. Do you look at Bollywood dance and think of it as as something that's less of a pure form of Indian dance, or do you think, or are you embracing and you think that it's just another form of Indian dance? What do you think, sir?
I think that Bollywood derives its dance from Indian classical dance. So if you look at old Bollywood movies and some of the Bollywood stars like Madhuri, they all, and Aishwarya Rai, they both learn classical dance forms. So in that way, they've become Bollywood dancers out of their own way of expressing themselves. So Bollywood in its right.
So it derives a lot anyway from the Indian classical tradition. Well, what do you think? I mean, do you watch a lot of Bollywood yourself?
Oh, I'm a big sucker for them. But
who's your favorite dancer in Bollywood?
Madhuri.
Madhuri?
Madhuri with heartbeat. Without a doubt. And the whole point of Bollywood is in itself its own dance art. It's its own dance form. You have Bollywood dance classes and dance performances, and in that way they can stand side by side quite happily. I mean, we know our grounds and they know their grounds, so it's fun.
Men dancing, when in Indian kind of the very stereotypical view is that only women dance, and kind of men, are just seen as less macho and things like that. Is that something that you hear of often? Do people come to you and say that, hey, what are you doing Kathak? You should be, doing playing the drums or tabla or something like that. Is that something that you get often?
Yeah, definitely. Like when I started learning Kathak, my mom was quite criticized because she's the one who encouraged me to do it at first when my sister used to go. So she used to say, go, and she got it a lot from my family who were like, what are you doing? Why are you making him a dancer? But they didn't know that I actually had a passion for it. And definitely all the time I get like a lot of Indian, because it is that way, but what they don't realize is actually in Kathak as a dance form was only danced by men at first. It wasn't shared with women because it was in that patriarchal society. It wasn't
it was very much a thing that men did.
Yeah, it was deemed something that women couldn't do because it was danced in the temple and stuff. But as the dance evolved, it became a more like especially when
you didn't know that, did you?
No, of course I did know that, but
your expressions, you're just like, gosh, you learn something new every day.
I mean, I was thinking about that's actually quite true how men were the very strong character and did actually take a lot of the role. I'm just wondering how women have started dominating it now.
And when you hear him say these things, is that true? I mean, is it very much still within Indian families? The daughters of the family take up dance, whereas the sons, play tabla or a musical instrument.
I think sometimes it is probably frowned upon. I think Shyam's experience is something that wouldn't surprise me to hear, but maybe I'm speaking from personal experience. I feel like men dancers, I'm probably putting myself down by saying this, but they actually make fantastic dancers. They've really got the stamina, the strength, especially for Bharatanatyam. Like I said, it's a very masculine way of dance, so they actually make very, very good dancers.
Okay, very good.